Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Tomcat Stitchery. I'm Whitney and I am here today to talk about the Cashmerette Upton Dress expansion, all the wonderful things that come along with it. Now, you guys have already seen my fancy Upton, but I made a second Upton and I really just want to talk more about this pattern. If you've been following along the channel for any time at all, you know that I had a complete love affair with the Cashmerette Stanton hoodie, which is their sweatshirt pattern. I made 4 for myself and 1 for my daughter, which is not typical. It's not something that I do for myself very often. The Cashmerette Concord t-shirts, it's my TNT t-shirt pattern, and then I'm also a member of their club, the Cashmerette Club, which gives you some not only new patterns but also some add-ons for current patterns. And one of those, I think March's maybe, was the Carlisle t-shirt, which was a new neckline for the Concord basically, a couple of different sleeves, and I don't know if it's a looser, it fits about the same, I'd say, the body of it. Anyway, so love Cashmerette patterns, big fan of their club. It's July 1st is the day that I'm actually filming this, and I just went and grabbed their new knit dress pattern. Well, I'm part of the club, so I get that. It's included in my subscription or my membership with them, so just really love them. Anyway, one of the months was a skirt pattern, maybe April's, for the Cashmerette Club. It was the Gilmore skirt, and part of that was you got a discount on the Upton dress and expansion pack. So the Upton is the Concord or Cashmerette Patterns fit and flare dress. I mean, it was one of their first patterns, period, way back when Cashmerette first started. And when they expanded their size range down to a size 0 and up to a size 32, it was one of the first ones that got a facelift as well. And in addition, the original dress was sleeveless and had a couple bodice options, or a couple of neckline options, a couple of skirt options, and a princess seam bodice. And then later they released a couple of like a flutter sleeve and a cap sleeve that you could put onto the sleeveless bodice. Then when they released the expansion pattern, when they did it in the full size range, they released a second bodice that's a darted bodice, another neckline, I think just one more neckline, and then also bodices, both the princess seamed and the darted bodice could also be made with a sleeve. So it was a bodice that you could put a sleeve onto, and they've included a few sleeve patterns as well. So, I mean, guys, you get this bodice to fit you, the sky's kind of the limit on this, and my brain has been going 100 miles an hour. So I got the Upton with the expansion in my size range, the time when the Gilmore skirt was out and that pattern was for sale. So because the Gilmore skirt can also be attached to the Upton bodice, as well as all of the Upton skirts can also, or the skirts for the dress can also be standalone skirts. So there are separate waistband pieces if you would like to make any of the skirts just a skirt. And then they came out with a maxi cut line, T-length cut line, and an above the knee cut line. For each of the skirts. Not the Gilmore. The Gilmore has just one. I mean, you could easily raise or lower that as you'd like, but the Gilmore does just have one cut line, which is kind of like a midi length, or midi length, because I'd say the Gilmore, you're going to see in a second, it is shorter than the T length of the pleated skirt. So my brain has just been going 100 miles an hour, and I just really wanted to talk about this a little bit more. I should have shown you the line drawings already, so you can kind of see all the different combinations, all the different sleeves. I mean, this also, there's a fitted sleeve that comes with this pattern, and I just keep thinking, if you have a fitted sleeve that fits into a bodice, the hacking opportunities are endless. And you don't even, I mean, it's not even so much drafting a new sleeve. You can just take that fitted sleeve and you could make yourself a big bishop sleeve and just add a cuff. You could make yourself, I think a flutter sleeve is one of the, well, it is, yeah, the flutter sleeve is one of them, so that, I mean, you already have that as part of the pattern. But you could do short puff sleeves if you wanted to, if that was your jam. That's not mine because I don't like, I don't want any added width across my bust line, but my daughter does love a good puff sleeve, so I'm very excited to make her a couple of these as well, because she loves a good fit and flare dress, and I think this is going to be just right up her alley. I also got to thinking, how wonderful would this pattern be, either of the bodices, with just like a tiered gathered skirt. You could go very bohemian, and it would be just a matter of gathering some rectangles into the waistband piece of, you know, either of the bodices, and you could go as long as you wanted to on that. Then you could add like a bishop sleeve if you wanted to hack that. I mean, it's just, there's really just unlimited opportunities. Now, this pattern is, the recommended fabrics for this pattern are stuff with a little bit more body, but I really feel like, and I'm sorry, I've been outside filming myself in this dress, and now my allergies are going nuts and my eyeballs are drying up like crazy. I really think, even though the recommendations are like linens and cottons and, you know, just things with a little bit more body, I think that you could easily do something like a rayon with more drape, especially if you wanted to drape your sleeve. I would just either line the body of the dress, because this pattern does come with a lined body. We'll talk a little bit more about these versions here in just a second. But I would either line it with something like a cotton lawn or even a linen, or like a silk dupioni, something with more body. I think if you just did that with the bodice, you could either underline it, so that's where you put the fabric behind your fashion fabric and sew it as one and then put a different lining in, or you could probably just maybe line it with that and be fine. You may want to play around with it. Maybe it'd be better to interline it. But if you had that stability in your bodice to give the neckline the shape that it needs and that sort of thing, I think it would be gorgeous to play around with some drapier skirts and sleeves, especially like the flutter sleeve option. And I'm sure people have made this dress out of rayons and that sort of thing, and it's been great. So I think that the fabric options for this one are also pretty amazing. All in all, great bang for your buck. Now, the Gilmore skirt is no longer available unless you get the all access tier of the Cashmerette Club. So if you're and I'm the very bottom, that's not the tier that I belong to, but I belong to the bottom tier since the beginning. So I've gotten all of the patterns up till now, but if you join after the fact, you do have to be a member of the all access tier to get the past patterns. And it's my understanding that there's no plans to release those patterns on their own. So just putting that out there. I also want to say I have no affiliation with Cashmerette at all. I don't have any affiliate links with them. I just really, they're one of my favorite pattern companies. Definitely in my top 5, probably I'd say in my top 3. So yeah, just want to share the love. These are great for those of us that are a little bit more busty, but they do have, I'll talk about my size in a second. But you know, their lowest cup size is a CD, which is upper bust to full bust. So that is like a 2 to 3 inch difference, I believe, from upper bust to full bust. So it's not just for like the overly busty people. And now that they go down to a size 0 up to a 32, it is a very size inclusive range. I just think, yeah, they fit me really, really well. So anyway, let's get talking about my versions. All right, I'm not going to say too much about this one. I will link the video. I'm going to link the video up here for that if you would like to see more about the Destashify, but I will talk a little bit about it. I got this fabric off Destashify. It is a cotton sateen. I did the princess seam bodice, the V-neck front, and the V back on this one. So there's 2 backs that come with this pattern, a higher back and a V-neck back. Or a V-neck back and a V back. Which sounds, never mind. Anyway, this is, I used the lower one for this one because this is going to be a party dress. And I attached the Gilmore skirt onto this one, which is a full circle skirt. And I finally finished hand hemming the Petersham ribbon on the hem of this, just to give it a little bit more stability on the hem. Number one, I wanted an invisible hem. And it's a circle skirt, so something that curves around, which Petersham ribbon does. I explain all that in the other video, but I did finish finally hand hemming this. It took forever. And I think my plan is to wear this, well, hopefully many occasions, but for coming up, my cousin is getting married and having a reception in Missouri, where we are from, and my plan is to wear this dress to that reception. And I think I am going to make myself a standalone petticoat to go underneath this, just to give it a lot of fullness. That way I can wear the dress with or without the extra poof. But I kind of feel like it needs, for a grand event like a wedding, I think it needs the extra poof just for the drama. So I am going to do that, and of course I'll take you guys along with me on that one. 4 sizes. I make the size 10 and then grade out to a 12 at the waist. So on my bodices, I did the size 10. These are obviously the sleeveless bodices. And then I graded out to a 12 at the bottom, right where the waistband attaches. The waistband's a straight size 12, and then I just kept my skirts straight size 12 because they're full skirts. Technically my hips fall into their size 8 range, but for the full skirts, I don't worry about, adjusting that. That's fine if they're, they're full skirts, so it doesn't really matter. And that's the only, I shortened each skirt by 3 inches. For the Gilmore, I just shortened it 3 inches at the hem. I shortened it up. And for this one, I shortened 2 inches at the lengthen and shorten line, which was above the knee length cut line, because I think that probably hit me fine for knee length. And then I shortened it 1 inch at the T length cut line up. So for a total of 3 inches for the T length. But then my thought was when I, if I make the above the knee length one, it would hit me perfectly with just 2 inches missing. So I tried to do that proportionally. This dress pattern is fully lined bodice, but not a lined skirt, so you can kind of do what you want there. I was thinking, especially with this one, and decided against it, but there are 2 skirts that come into the pattern. A pleated skirt, which I used here, and then a gored skirt. So it's like a paneled gored skirt. It's a fuller skirt, but not a circle skirt. It just has a little bit of swish to it. And I think that you could probably use that pattern if you were making one of these fuller skirts, or even if you're making the gored skirt, for the lining, because it would use less lining fabric and give you the lining you needed with a little bit of movement, but you don't need to have like a full circle skirt lining underneath a full circle skirt. You just don't need that. So I think you could use that for the skirt lining if you were using fabric that required it. Again, I decided not to line the skirt of this dress because I am thinking I'm going to put a petticoat under there and it would just be too much. And it works really, really well. It's kind of perfect. And this fabric's very opaque. Don't have to worry about seeing it, anything see-through. And then the lining finishes off the bodice really, really beautifully. Both dresses do finish off with an invisible seam in the back. And for this one, I did some silk crepe de chine that I had in my stash. So that is that dress. Again, it has the Gilmore skirt on it, which is the full circle skirt. Then this one is I have bras on both of my mannequins here, stuffed with batting. So this one is the darted bodice, which is my first time, first time making both of these, but love it. Sometimes darts, especially on a full bust, can get a little pointy. I think these work out well. So this bodice has the bust dart and a waist dart in the front, and then it features waist darts in the back, which this one does too. No, princess seams, sorry. Princess seams on front and back of this one. This one has the waist darts in the back as well for some shaping. And I went with the high back on this one. So this is the high back version. And I chose the square neckline. This felt very picnic to me. The square neckline on this one for just for some summer fun and that sort of thing. I cut my waistband across the grain because I didn't want to try and match up plaids, and I think it worked out really, really well. And then for the skirt, I put on the pleated skirt because, again, I'm working with a up and down gingham, kind of. It's kind of a plaid. It may be coming across more stripe on here, but there is a subtle plaid that goes across here as well. Kind of reminds me of like a picnic tablecloth. But I didn't want anything going weird on the bias, for a circle skirt. So I did the pleated skirt, and this is great for directional prints. If you want something like this with a straighter hem, so you don't have anything going wonky like a plaid or something, the pleated skirt works perfectly. There's a little bit of curve at the bottom, but not a lot. And I think it works really, really well. So I went with the pleated skirt on this one. And because it's pleated, there's quite a bit of fabric there. Because my fabric is a little bit see-through. It's just a loose weave. But it works fine because of the pleated nature. And I love the length on this one. I'm so happy with this dress, guys. I'm happy with this dress too. But, I mean, I really love this dress. This is going to be a great party dress. But I feel like this is going to be a great, like, going to a barbecue or a little party or church or just even a night out, like a dinner out with my husband, a casual dinner out. I think that this one, it feels kind of vintage to me, and I just feel really pretty in it. Both of them. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this one as well. Okay, let's talk about the fabric real quick. This is a very bizarre fabric. My friend Marissa was over sewing yesterday because my kids are gone, so she came over for a sew day, and she was like, "What is that fabric?" And I'm like, "That's a good question. It is cotton. I got it from Metro Textiles in New York City, and it was billed as a cotton, and it is. I did a little burn test on it, but it is almost, it's almost knitted with like just a little bit of give, like, so it's not stretchy. It just has a little bit of give, which also makes it super comfortable to wear. But it's very bizarre. I've just never seen anything like this. But it worked perfectly for this dress and made a very comfortable dress. I'm very, very pleased. For the bodice, oh, I interfaced, that is optional in the pattern to interface your waistband pieces, but I did interface my, the fashion fabric waistband on both this dress and this dress to give it just a little bit more stability and to help hold up there, because my waist is not you know, a small part on me necessarily. It fluctuates wildly, but I wanted that to stay flat through there, so that interfacing definitely helps. And for the bodice of this one, I just lined the bodice and I used a white cotton lawn for my stash, which worked out perfectly. Everything finished off really, really nicely. I did have a little trouble with the square neckline, because obviously you have to cut into the points here, and because this fabric is so, it's a very loose weave, or like a wide knit, whatever, I had a little problem with fraying at those edges. So I went ahead and just top stitched my neckline just to make it extra secure, and I think that works out well. And then that gave me the go ahead to go ahead and top stitch my hem, which you can't even really see. I mean, I did it in white, but I'm like, you know, we've got top stitching around the neckline to make that secure. I think top stitching around the hem is fine. And after I spent hours hand doing the hem on this one, which this probably wouldn't be as long as this one, but oh my gosh, I'm like, nope, we're doing it on the machine. And it worked out great. Again, same size, did the size 10, graded to the waist, or 12 at the waist, cut the 12 waistband and the 12 skirt. That works out great. Used the sleeveless bodice, and then I shortened, like I said, the skirt 2 inches at the lengthen and shorten line, which is above the knee length line, and then I did another inch, just brought the hem up of the T-length cut line as well. And this comes with a maxi skirt option, which I think could be very stunning and dramatic if you were making a formal gown as well. And the cousin whose wedding I'm going to in Missouri is also having her big wedding in Italy. And so that's going to be like the full, you know, she's going to be in her dress, her actual wedding dress. They're technically actually getting married at City Hall in New York next week. But yeah, they're going to do the big wedding in Italy soon. And I've got that silk gazar from Destashify that I'm going to make, I think, a 2-piece outfit. But I think the skirt might be one of the Upton skirts. And then do something a little different with the top. Anyway, I love this pattern. So, yeah, so those are my 2 new Uptons. I am not saying that there aren't going to be more this summer, because I have a kind of a canary yellow, which is one of my yellows, and white gingham, I think it's just a cotton shirting, from Style Maker. And I think I was thinking of maybe doing like a knee length something in that one, because I think I only have 2 yards of that. So it would have to be something shorter probably. Although I got this out of, it'll depend on the width, I guess. I need to check into that. But yeah, I just think this is such a fun summer dress to wear. I can't wait to make some for my daughter. I think she's going to love that. And yeah, if you don't have this pattern and you're looking for a nice dress that can be like your TNT, when I did my wardrobe basics video and I went through my TNTs, I had mentioned that I thought the Upton was going to be my TNT fit and flare dress. I just hadn't made it up yet. Yes, I was correct. And it's my TNT flared skirt pattern as well, because I don't know how the flared skirt couldn't. I mean, the skirts, I love the dresses, so I'm sure that just the skirts are going to be great. So yes, I was correct in that they were going to become my TNT pattern. So I'll just be adding that to my own wardrobe basics checklist. And if you don't know what that is, if you sign up for my newsletter, and I have that link down below, you do get a free welcome email that has a free wardrobe basics checklist to help you plan out your own basics in your wardrobe, color palette and stuff like that. I'll link the video too if you're interested right here as well. Okay, that's all I have for today. If you are in the US, I hope you had a wonderful 4th of July. Look at me in my patriotic colors. I didn't even notice that until I was down here. My husband's like, oh, you look very patriotic. Because again, I'm filming this on July 1st, so before the 4th of July holiday, but I hope you had a wonderful one if you were celebrating that. I also just want to say, because again, I'm filming this on Friday, and my shirt making class went live this morning and sold out in 3 hours, which is just, I mean, the texts that were flying back between my friend Jenny and I, because she is going along on this journey with me, and she is doing all the behind the work, so much work behind the scenes, helping me get these classes up and going, and I really want more classes. But if you are still interested in the class, definitely get on the wait list, because, you know, things happen, people have to drop out and that sort of thing, so get on that email list just in case. But my plan is that I would really love to have not only more classes here where I live in person in the future, but also figure out a way to do some digital classes that would be more budget friendly, only because you wouldn't be getting as much because it's a digital class instead of me in person, obviously. But, you know, just a way to reach everybody so that everyone can have a chance. And again, nothing's changing on the channel, so everyone still has access to me through YouTube. But, I mean, not that I'm that great, but you know what I mean. Like, I just want to spread the love of sewing to as many people as possible, and it's just my passion. And teaching you guys and being in community with guys has just been, I mean, it's clearly, it's my thing. It is what I am put here to do. And I'm really thankful for that. So thank you guys so much for being so excited about that class. Now I just have to, my husband said, well, now you just got to put on a class that doesn't stink. And I'm like, well, thank you for your confidence. So, no. So we've got a lot of really great things planned for this class. And again, hopefully in the future, we can put, get some more put out as well. So I think this is really going to fill my cup and having you guys in person, and hopefully the same for the students as well. All right, guys, so that is all I have for today. I will be back on Friday. Friday's going to be a vlog. So I took you guys along last week with me, as you're watching this, as my kids were gone and as I was doing a whole bunch of sewing for my daughter. So got kind of a more relaxed vlog on Friday. So I hope you enjoy that, and I will see you again on Sunday for another tutorial. We're just doing a whole bunch of tutorials this summer. Yeah, just little things that are easy to reference back to. All right, guys, that's all I have for today. I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday. I hope you get some sewing in this week and that you have good weather wherever you are, and I will see you next time. Bye.